Alright, hey YouTube, as requested, people wanted me to show them how to get unbanned from websites or change their IP address. So if you were banned from forums or other websites, Chatroulette is a big one, and a few other places that you can possibly get banned from that is based off your IP address. Yeah, you can try using a proxy, and trying a bunch of different other things to try and get your IP address changed. There's a whole IP shield software. None of that stuff I feel works all that great. This is a legit way of changing your IP address. A couple things I want to go over with. You're going to need a third-party firewall with multiple Ethernet ports. What I'm saying there is either an old computer, or if you already have a firewall with multiple LAN ports, you can use that as well, or build your own firewall. I'm running Untangle on my firewall, and you're able to set what is your internal and external ports. With Comcast, to change an IP address, you need a different MAC address. So every Ethernet port has a specific MAC address. If you don't want to change, sure, certainly you can change the MAC address and change it to something else and reboot, your modem, and that should work as well. But if you don't feel like changing the MAC address and cloning it and doing all that, complete easy way of getting unbanned is what I'm about to show you. I am running Comcast at home. I used to have WoW and Comcast at the same time, multiple internet connections as a rollover, but I'm sure it's going to probably work the same way as WoW or any other service provider. With Comcast, for some reason, Comcast remembers the device address. So if you restart, plug it directly into your computer, it will have a different IP address. But if you go back and plug it into the computer that was originally plugged into, that you got banned off of, it will remember the IP address for whatever reason. So you need a completely different MAC address for it to work. It remembers the last device. I had left my modem off that a specific Ethernet port for a month, and then when I plugged it back in, it still grabbed the IP address from Comcast's DNS pool. So I'm going to show you real quick right now on how to change your IP address through Comcast. Like I said, first things first, you're going to probably want to get a firewall or another device. Another router would work if you had another router. Something that has a different WAN MAC address. So something that you didn't use that you got banned off of already. So with my firewall, I have 6 Ethernet ports. So I'm allowed to change in my settings here. I'll go to my config, networking. These are my interfaces. So as you can see, each one has a different MAC address. Here's my external, and then there's my internal. So I got a couple other ones that I haven't used yet. So let me show you. I already got myself banned from a website. I went ahead and got banned from Chatroulette for you guys, because that is a big one that everybody's getting banned for. So as you can see, I'm going to the community service. So let's go ahead and close that. And what I'm going to do now is find my outgoing line, which is this one right here, which goes to my modem. Usually when I do this, before I unplug that, I'm going to unplug my modem. So let me go ahead and unplug my modem. Sorry, it's going to be a little shaky. Unplug it. So I just unplugged my modem. We're going to let that power down first. But in the meantime, we can figure out the next port I'm going to use. It looks like I'm going to use 4 because that one's active right now. I don't have anything plugged into the onboard ports, so I'm going to use the 4th one right here. Because I have I'll go ahead and show you the box. StarTech gigabit 4-port network adapter in there. This was like $150 online at Newegg at the time. I bought it last year. It could be cheaper. It's probably the same price. It is gigabit, and it is 4-port for your single slot. So let's go back over here. So the modem is pretty much off. Power's going to die out in a second. Nothing's lit up, so it's off. I'm going to take my outgoing line that goes to my modem and plug it into another port on my firewall. Once I find it. So I'm going to plug it into my 4th port. So let's go ahead and refresh the interfaces, and I'll show you what I'm talking about here. Okay. Sorry you can't really see well on the screen. I have like a glare. So now that that port is not plugged in, there's nothing in there. It's saying disconnected. So now I want to move my 4th one up. That's saying, so it's going to be number 5. That's the one that's saying connected 100 megabytes per second full duplex. So I'm going to move that one up to my external. So now I got 5 up there. I'm going to go ahead and apply. And I'm going to hit yes. Hit OK. So now I got my 5 plugged in. Looks like 3 got moved somehow. So I'm going to move my internal back to where it's supposed to be. And hit apply. So you want to make sure that your external or internal is the same. You don't want to touch your internal unless if you got banned off all the ports and you got a flip-flop now. So now my internal is the same, my external is different, so I got a different MAC address on my outgoing to my modem. Now you want to take, I did have one, a paper clip or a pencil, whatever you want to use, to reset the modem. But what I like to do now too is I'm going to power down my firewall before I do this reset. So I'm just going to hit the power button and shut it down. And I'm going to plug in, I'm going to plug my modem back in. Set you guys down right here. I'm going to plug my modem back in. And wait for that to pop up. Alright. And then there's a little reset hole in the back. It will say reset. So you want to put a paper clip or push that down for 5 seconds. 5 seconds and the lights will go out as you're holding it down, or will eventually go out. So 5-10 seconds, it doesn't matter. And then pull it out. And the lights will blink all at once. Come on. There we go. And then the modem will begin to boot back up. What we did by pressing the reset button was we reset the memory inside the modem. It basically releases the IP address that's in the modem. So now that we're getting a new IP address when it boots up, I'm going to go ahead and turn on the firewall once it fully comes back up. and I should have a different IP address on that MAC address. Like again, I said, I don't know how Comcast remembers the MAC address, but like, I left it off for like a month on a different Ethernet port and plugged it back in, and somehow I regained the same IP address that I had a month ago. So, depending on how long it takes before someone grabs it out of the DNS pool at Comcast or your service provider, you will get the same IP address. It may be different in some states, some areas. Again, this is just my research and doing things what I've been doing. So, a couple things too you want to probably get on your computer, because Chatroulette does also check cookies, is a program called CCleaner. You just want to go ahead and analyze it, run the cleaner, so forth. I would also recommend using a different browser for the first time. That's always helpful, but you don't have to. As long as you clean your cookies out using that software, you'll be okay. So I'm going to go ahead and turn my firewall back on. And everything's back up on the modem. And that should be going. Like I said, Untangle is a free software. It's open source for firewall. Great firewall. Has everything you need. You can subscribe to some of the extras, and there's a lot of good stuff in there. You can install it on pretty much any old computer or new computer, and it works really well. So if you really wanted to make your own homemade firewall, Untangle is one of the best ones out there. There's a few other ones out there, obviously, that you can use, but I really enjoy Untangle. It's user friendly. It's got a nice GUI, and I don't know. I'm pretty satisfied with it overall. And again, like I said, basically what's happening is when you get banned and you need to change your IP address, you basically need to change your MAC address or use a different incoming port on a router or firewall. You can go out and buy a whole new router if you want to, if you just got a modem and router set up. Reset the modem by pressing the reset button in the back before you plug in your new router, and you would be good to go that way too. But since I got a complex network here, replacing my firewall all the time just doesn't make sense. You know, I can throw in an Ethernet card and have the same effect. But that's what I would do. It's, you know, use an old computer, get a couple Ethernet cards that you can switch out if you keep getting banned, and all you gotta do is just keep hitting the reset button on your modem. Untangle's almost up. Then we can go ahead and try going to Chatroulette and show you that it works. But I'm also going to check to see that my IP address did change to something different. But this will work for any websites that you got banned off of, like a forum or anything that just basically bans you based on IP address, not user. Because obviously if you get banned by a user name, you can just make a new user account with a new email. But again, if it's being banned by IP and you don't want to go through the hassle there, this is one way of changing your IP address and pretty much guaranteed to work. So I'm going to go ahead and log in to my firewall. Now that I logged into my firewall, I'm going to test connectivity to the outside. So my firewall is now speaking to the internet. It's successfully connected to the internet, so we know that works. So we're going to go to IPKitten or IPKitten, and make sure the IP address has been changed. So now I'm getting a 76.112.71.117 address. So my address has changed. Remember to run CCleaner first, and we'll reopen up your web browser of choice, and we'll just go to chatroulette.com and click on Chatroulette, and you are back up and running. Now here's the moment of truth that a lot of YouTube videos don't show you, is by clicking the preview cam and allowing, because once you turn on your cam, then it kind of proves the point there. So I'm going to enable my webcam. Oh, you got to sign in. So I'm going to go ahead and sign in. I would probably recommend making a new user here, but I'm going to try using one of my old ones and see what happens. So I'm signed in. Now I'm going to go ahead and enable my webcam. So there you go. You can actually see. So that is one way of getting unbanned from Chatroulette or any of the other websites. So if you guys have any other questions, I know the video was kind of long, go ahead and post below. I'll try and help you out as best I can. Again, basically overall, different MAC address for a different IP address. Just use a different Ethernet port, use a different router, something that wasn't already banned, and reset the modem just by pressing the pin in the back. Again, you don't have to pull the power. I just do it just because I'm all about fully rebooting the whole system. So I hope you enjoyed the video and it's useful. Again, it does get you back online if you were banned, and it gets you a different IP address. So thanks for watching.